Hello everyone, welcome to LRDIprep. My name is Samir Sardana, a plus educator on Unacademy. In this video, I'll be discussing CAT 2020 slot 1 logical reasoning set. The set name is 10 instruments. The solution that I will be giving to you in this video is one of the best and unique solution. You can subscribe to LRDIprep channel for 300 plus free videos for your logical reasoning and data interpretation section. This will help you in CAT exam as well as other MBA entrance exams also. And to attend my live sessions on Unacademy Plus, you can subscribe to Unacademy Plus using my referral code LRDISMEER, and you can attend all of my live sessions on Unacademy. Let's have a look at the set here. This is the set that we are going to discuss in this video. 10 musicians, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J are the experts in at least one of the following three percussion instruments, tabla, mridangam, and ghatam. Among them, there are experts in tabla but not in mridangam or ghatam. Another three are experts in mridangam but not in tabla or ghatam. So these are the instructions that tells you how many persons are there who are experts in one instrument or two instrument or in three instrument. By looking at this, you can just make a small information slide, or you can just arrange this data, right? You get to know that because three instruments are being used here, and some of them are playing only tabla, some of them are playing only ghatam, and so on. So just make a small Venn diagram to understand this part of the information, right? And how do we make that Venn diagram? Let's have a look at it. So see that if I make a Venn diagram of three set, why three set? Because three instruments are being mentioned over here. So what do we have here is, let's try to understand the information. If I make three set Venn diagram here, right? It says tabla, mridangam, or ghatam, right? It says there are three experts, right? Three are experts in tabla but not in mridangam. Okay, so three experts are only in tabla, right? And then you see that another three are the experts in mridangam, right? So another three are in mridangam but not in tabla or ghatam, and one is an expert in ghatam but not in tabla or mridangam, right? So one is in ghatam, right? Another two experts in tabla and mridangam, right? Tabla and mridangam, they are two experts but not in ghatam. One is an expert in tabla and ghatam. One is expert in tabla and ghatam. So there's a one person who is expert in tabla and ghatam but not in mridangam, right? So total number of musicians are 10, and you can see that 3 plus 3 6 plus 2 8 plus 1 plus 9 10. So this value will be 0 and this value will also be 0. This will give you a basic idea how many experts you are supposed to put in any one of the instrument, how many experts are there who are playing two instruments, how many experts are there who are playing in three instruments. But as per this question, we are supposed to identify where does A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J will lie. These are the instructions that we are supposed to use to reach to our final data arrangement. Now, basically, you will have to make a table. By looking at the instructions, you should get to know that I need a table of all of these 10 persons, and I should be able to tell that whether A is only in tabla, or A is in tabla or ghatam, or A is in tabla or mridangam, right? And there's no person who is expert in all three instruments, because we have made this one basic diagram. The value here is 0 and the value here is also 0. So now let's take the help of this Venn diagram to fill our complete table. This is what the set is all about. Okay, so I'm making this small Venn diagram over here, right? This will give us a complete idea. Tabla, T, M, and G. We have three people here. We have 3, 2, 1, 1. Okay. We have three people here, 2 here, 1 here, 1 here, 0 here, and 0 here. Now let's use these hints to make our table. The first statement says both A and B are the experts in mridangam, but only one of them is also an expert in tabla. That means A and B are both playing this instrument, but only one of them is also an expert in tabla. That means either A or B, between A or B, there is only one person who is expert in tabla, right? That means if I'm making A as expert in tabla, then B will not be expert in tabla. If I'm saying B is expert in tabla, then A will not be an expert in tabla. So both of these two conditions, any of one of these two condition will be the final case, right? But we still don't have any information where we can find out कि इन दोनों में से कौन तबला बजा रहा है और कौन तबला नहीं बजा रहा है. Okay, now let's look at the second information. D is an expert in both tabla and ghatam. D is an expert in tabla and ghatam, and because we have seen that there is no person who is an expert in all these three instruments, so can I say that D must not be playing the second instrument, that is mridangam? Okay. Both F and G are expert in tabla. Both F and G are the experts in tabla. That means F is playing tabla, G is also playing tabla. But only one of them is also an expert in mridangam, right? Only one of them is playing this instrument. So if F is playing mridangam, G is not playing mridangam. If F is not playing mridangam, then G is playing mridangam, right? Neither I nor J is an expert in tabla. Okay. So I is not playing tabla, J is not playing tabla. Neither H nor I is an expert in mridangam, right? Neither H nor I is an expert in mridangam. But only one of them is expert in ghatam. That means if H is playing ghatam, then I is not an expert in ghatam. If H is not an expert in ghatam, then I is an expert in ghatam, right? That's it. These are the 5 points that we have used here. Now we use to combine these two information to reach to the final solution. And it's not necessary that you have to find out the unique solution of this complete arrangement. There can be some information in the question also that might be helpful for us. But let's try to see what extra we can fill in this. If we try to use the information from here, you see that the first point here is that I have only one person. You see that, look at the circle of Khatam, right? There are only two people who are playing this third instrument, that is Khatam, right? I'm sure you must have made this Venn diagram in your notebook, right? That I drew in the previous slide. This might not be visible to you. Ghatam, we have two people, right? So we have only two people who are playing Ghatam. So see that, and we know that one of the person who is playing this third instrument Ghatam is D, and one of the another person who will be playing the instrument Ghatam would be either H or it would be I, right? Any one of them is definitely playing one of that instrument. So that means these two person are only D and one between H and I. So can I say none of the other people will be able to play this instrument? So can I cross in rest of the values? And now carefully observe it that I is a person who is not playing tabla. I is a person who is not playing mridangam. If you cross here, that means I is not playing any of these three instruments. Every musician is playing at least one of the instrument. So you cannot place a cross here. If you cannot place a cross here, that means it would be a tick mark. If you are, that means H, I is definitely playing Ghatam. If I is playing Ghatam, that means H is not playing Ghatam. So let's use this information here. So we get to know that I is definitely playing Ghatam and H is not playing Ghatam, right? Okay, so we get to know the two people who are playing Ghatam, and these are D and I. Okay, so we have used this information. Now let's go to the next point here. If you look at H is not playing mridangam, H is not playing Ghatam, so H is definitely playing tabla. H is definitely playing tabla. So you need to place a tick mark over here. Now, what else we can use? If you look at this information, that tabla is being played by three people. Only tabla is being played by three people, right? And we know that one of that people is definitely H. I'm talking about the musicians who are playing only tabla. So उसमें से एक तो H हो जाएगा, right? And this person cannot be the only tabla playing. G is playing, any one of them can be playing, tabla, See that G is playing tabla. Whether he's playing Mridangam or not, that depends on the information of F. So, if F is playing Mridangam, then G is not playing Mridangam. That means G will be playing only tabla. And if G is playing Mridangam, right, then F is not playing Mridangam. That means F is playing only tabla. So, can I say that out of these three people who are playing only tabla, one of the person is definitely H. One of the person is between F and G. And similarly, with the same logic, one of the person will be between A and B, because also between A and B, if one is playing tabla, other is not. If one is not playing tabla, the other is not. So, all right. So H is one of the person who is playing only tabla. G and F will have one person who is playing tabla. D cannot be that person playing only tabla. And between A and B, right, one would be playing both two and one will be playing only with Hingham. So can I say that between C and E, there has to be one person who is playing only tabla, right? Between C and BE, there is only one person who is playing only tabla. That means if C is playing tabla, right, then E is now there are two cases, right? If C is playing tabla, right, and he might or might not play the mridangam, right? They are both cases, right? And the same is the case for E also. E might be playing mridangam but not, or might not be playing, depending on whether C is playing it or not. But between C and E, there is one person who is playing only tabla, right? Only tabla. I need total number of 6 people playing tabla, right? I need only 6 people playing tabla. Now have a look at this information carefully. That till this point, if I count the total number of person who are playing tabla, one is definitely H, one is definitely G, one is definitely F. So these three peoples are definitely playing tabla. Three, one of between A and B is also playing tabla, but not both, right? One of A and B. So 3 plus 1, 4, and D is definitely playing tabla. So I have 5 people. So can I say between C and E, only one of them will be playing tabla, right? Only one of. So if I'm saying that C is playing tabla, E is not playing tabla. Similarly, if C is not playing tabla, E is playing tabla. So both of these two values are interconnected, right? So that means if you place a tick mark here, you need to place a cross mark here. If you place a cross mark here, you need to place a tick mark here. Exactly with the same logic, you also need to see that in between these two persons, there's one person playing only tabla and one person playing tabla and mridangam. So depending upon whether the person is playing tabla or mridangam, you also need to decide the position here, right? So can I say that these two positions, right? So I'm placing a scale here, are also interconnected, right? Because I'm looking for one person playing both of these two instruments. That can be either C or that can be E. And one person playing only tabla, again that can be C only or E only. And then we also have an interconnection between these two conditions, right? Let me show it with a red color. So if you're placing tick mark here, it will be cross here. If you're placing cross here, it will be a tick mark here. We have already written down here. Looking at J's information, J is not playing tabla, J is not playing gatam. So J has to play the instrument which is mridangam, right? J must be playing with mridangam because every magician is playing one instrument. So this is the table that you have now. And now to answer all the question, all you have to do is just read the information out of the table. Have a look at the question number 1. Who among the following is definitely an expert? The word mentioned over here is definitely an expert in tabla, but not in either mridangam or gatam. So I'm looking for a person जिसके साथ आप definitely word लगा सकते हो, or that person need to be playing only tabla but not of these two instruments. So you see that only tabla is being played by H. And we are still confused whether it is C or E who is playing only tabla. But H is the person who is definitely playing only tabla. So therefore, answer to the first question is option number 4. If you look at the next question, who among the following is definitely an expert in mridangam but not in either tabla or ghatam, right? Definitely an expert in mridangam, right? Only one instrument. So look at the table. Who is playing only one instrument? Definitely word should be there. We are confused about these two. We are confused about these two, but we are not confused about J. J is definitely playing only mridangam, right? So you can say that J will be the correct answer, right? Looking at the question number 3 here, which of the following pairs cannot have any musician who is an expert in both tabla and mridangam but not in ghatam? So which of the following pairs cannot, the word is not definitely, it says cannot have any musician. जो पेयर्स आपको दिए हैं उसमें से कोई भी म्यूजिशियन ऐसा नहीं है जो तबला और मृदंगम बजा रहा है बट जो who is an expert in both tabla and mridangam but not in ghatam. Okay, if you look at F and G, right? F and G, you see that if I look at F and G, we know that between F and G there is definitely one person who is playing tabla only, or there is one person who is playing tabla and mridangam only. So F and G, we definitely will have one person who is an expert in both tabla and mridangam. This cannot be. I'm looking for that option जिसमें दोनों में से कोई भी ऐसा म्यूजिशियन नहीं है जो इस कंडीशन को satisfy करता हो. Looking at A and B, okay. If I look at A and B, we know that A और B में से definitely एक person ऐसा होगा जो तबला और मृदंगम आपस में दोनों साथ में बजाएगा और एक ऐसा होगा जो only मृदंगम में होगा, right? But A and B में definitely एक person ऐसा होने वाला है, right? Okay, so ये भी आंसर नहीं हो सकता. Look at C and E and C and F. Okay, look at C and D now. Looking at C and E, right? We know that one person, C and E, one person is, okay, this is connected with this, right? Yeah, we will have one person, right? Between C and D, one person will be playing only tabla and one person will be playing tabla and mridangam both. So yes, C and E is also an option where one of the person can be an expert who is playing both tabla and mridangam but not in ghatam. But yes, option 4, C and F. If you look at C and F, C and F is an, between C and F, you see that there is not, we cannot say that between C and F. F is definitely, F is a person who will be playing tabla. He might play, his condition of playing mridangam will depend on G, right? So F condition will depend on G. F condition is not dependent on C. So F and C, you cannot be surely say that one of them will be playing both tabla and mridangam but not in ghatam. So therefore the answer to the question is option number D, right? Looking at the next question, if C is an expert in mridangam, right? Now question says C is an expert in this instrument, okay, and F is not. Okay, now let's use this information. C is an expert in mridangam, right? Now let's use it. If C is an expert in mridangam, right? That means if I am placing a tick mark here, right? That means I need to place a cross here, right? Now, if I'm placing a cross here, then I need to place a tick mark here. If I'm placing a tick mark here, then I need to place a cross here, right? Is it clear? Okay. Now question says, if C is an expert in mridangam, right? If C is an expert in mridangam, okay, then and F is not, okay, then which of the following are the 3 musicians who are expert in tabla but not in mridangam and ghatam? So I'm supposed to look for the person who is playing only tabla, right? F is not playing mridangam, right? So if it is, it's also given that F is not playing mridangam, right? F is not playing mridangam, right? So just a minute. So if F is not playing mridangam, right, that means G is playing mridangam, right? Now see that the person who is playing only tabla, right? The person who is playing only tabla would be, you see that one of the person would be F, one of the person would be E, and right, G is definitely not a person who is playing tabla, right? G, you can see, is playing tabla and mridangam both. So G is definitely a person who is not playing only tabla. And if you look at the options here, right, G is in the first option, so I can eliminate the first option, right? Second option is also eliminated. Fourth option is also eliminated because G is playing both of the instruments. So the answer to the question is option number 3. E and F and H will be the correct answer of the question. That's the set of CAT 2020 slot 1, right? This is an easy set. It's only a condition based puzzle, you can say, right? Where the unique arrangement is not possible, but using the information out of the question, you can easily solve all these 4 questions. All you have to do is just organize the information in a proper way. That's it. If you can arrange this complete data in a proper way, you can easily solve this complete set. Thank you so much for watching this video. And in the next video lesson, I will be discussing the more solutions. So I have put 4 set solutions out of 5 that were asked in the slot 1 of CAT 2020. And the remaining solutions video will also be uploaded soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next part, and subscribe to Unacademy Plus using my referral code LRDISMEER. This will give you a 10% off on Unacademy Plus subscription. And subscribe to LRDIprep YouTube channel to get access of 300 plus videos. And you can also join my Telegram group Target CAT 2021 with Smear for free content and PDF files. Link of the Telegram group and to attend free special classes on Unacademy. My profile link is given in the description part of the video. Thank you.